Fort Wayne is known for its three rivers, and a city built around three rivers will always have the potential for flooding.
As we start wrapping up what could end up being the snowiest winter on record, a lot of you have expressed concerns that there could be significant flooding this week. News Channel 15's Jesse Hawila joins us with more on that risk and how the city has improved on flood management since the Great Flood of 1982. Jesse?
Mark, in part one of our story that aired yesterday, we highlighted our risks of flooding. But today we're going to be talking about how the city has much better prepared itself since 1982.
It's far worse than people can imagine. The cars are covered, houses are half full. You can see ice flows going in and out of the doorways, people trying to get some of the things out in boats.
The Great Flood of 1982 brought the worst upon our city, but brought out the best in our people. Even President Reagan came to Fort Wayne to see the devastating flood.
Fort Wayne made quite an impression on me. I want you to know that those young people, those volunteers out on the dike, if this wouldn't make any American confident of the future of our country to see those young people.
A lot of winter records were broken this season, many of which were set in 1982. And that's had a lot of you questioning whether or not significant flooding is approaching Fort Wayne. But city engineers say
we are much better off than we were in 82.
More than $75 million has gone into flood management since 1982. Levees, flood walls, flood plains, and home buyouts have allowed us to better handle floods without nearly as much consequence.
Since the flood of 1982, we've built approximately 10.5 miles of levees and flood walls. We've also protected areas like the Woodhurst area with flood control projects. So we protected a lot more areas than were protected prior to 1982.
These efforts have been ongoing over the last 32 years. In 1994, the Fort Wayne-Allen County Flood Control Project sought out to remove as much as 70% of Fort Wayne property in flood-prone areas. This, along with other flood management tactics, have proven helpful so far.
Those improvements are pretty dramatic. We've made purchases of over 300 homes in areas. We have green space that will hold more water. We have improvements to our storm drainage and storm pipes throughout the community. We have flood walls since the 1982 flood and levees and many, many changes that are able to help us handle situations like this. But you always watch things and you always monitor things.
As the snow melts this week and the rain arrives, our rivers will be watched closely. Let's break down some numbers of Fort Wayne's rivers. The St. Joe River is currently at 3.5 feet. Since 1913, the highest recorded crest of the St. Joe was in 2009 at 20.38 feet, which is more than 8 feet above flood stage. The St. Mary's River is currently at 2.5 feet. Since 1982, two record crests of the St. Mary's occurred in 2003 and 2005 at more than 5 feet above flood stage. We've seen several historical crests of two of our rivers in the last decade with minimal effect.
That's an indication of how much our work has caused us to be able to prevent more damage from a flood event.
However, the Maumee has yet to crest near major flood stage since 1985. That means some flood management projects have yet to be put to the big test. While flood management has come a very long way since 1982, preventing floods in a city built around rivers is impossible. So flood-prone areas should stay extra aware in the coming weeks. So again, we're here live in Headwaters Park, and this is just one of the projects Fort Wayne has implemented since 1982, and that's a big floodplain. That's what this park was designed to do. Also, they do have action plans in place in case flooding occurs, including sandbags and what else to do with people in case it does occur. Reporting live in Fort Wayne, Jesse Hawila, News Channel 15.
I know it wasn't a great chapter, but it was kind of cool to look at that walk back in time.
Yeah, and to hear President Reagan talking about Fort Wayne.
That was inspiring.
Yeah.